All right. Good morning.
Morning, Benjamin. Good morning, world.
Happy Monday.
Oh, yes.
We're so happy to be here. It's Divine Masculine Mondays somewhere in the world. And wherever you are, you can type us, let us know where you're coming from. Today, we are going to be talking about how to actually embody and manifest your dreams, how to actually do this work, how to heal. And um, that's all accessible, that you have everything you need already. So we're not going to be teaching anything necessarily that hasn't been created before, but we're actually going to have you all do the work with us. And if you have questions, if you have comments, we want to know along the way about how to do this work. And also if you have things that work for you as well. Welcome from Texas. We got Kyle. Fast forwards, Eric Davis, Toronto in the house. Thank you all for coming today. And welcome to Divine Masculine Mondays. How you doing, John?
I'm great. It's a beautiful Monday, and I'm just ready to dive into the topics today. So if you guys are at home, um, please let us know what you're grateful for this morning. Maybe one word, and we'll get started on our topics.
And real quick, we'll do the plugins. We want to say if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Please share this message and comment along the way. All right, John, you ready to go?
Yes.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. Um, yeah, so embodiment. The reason I actually had energy today is because I was able to get in the ocean and go surfing yesterday. And it changed my whole life. And this is the place where, so I'm in San Diego. John, where are you today?
I'm in Houston today.
Awesome. John has been traveling a lot teaching, and I'm traveling just living the dream and spending time with family as we work here. So we've been in Los Angeles, where it was actually the place where I got the news that my father had passed, and I hadn't been back since. And so my body's been going through a lot. I'm having multiple pains, things flaring up in my left foot, my back, the left side of my back. It's all muscular or bursitis related. And as I got to San Diego, I noticed as soon as I got in the water, this started to shift. But one thing we've talked about in body work here before is that in the meridians and the two sides of the body, and in manifestation and energy work, often the left side of the body, the reason I bring this all up, the left side of the body is considered to be connected to the past. And the right side of the body, for you all, maybe the right side of the body, is the yoga teacher, is connected to the future, right? So if the left side is in the past, if some part of you is experiencing trauma or something related to the past, sometimes it can manifest on the left side. That's like having one foot in the past and one foot in the future, which we say is pissing on the present. So it's just something I noticed as I have been back at a place now where with Ken, who's my adopted grandpa, the partner of my wife's grandmother, who just passed away at 101 years old.
Wow.
And he's gone from having caretakers in the house and all his meals taken care of, and having the love of his life around in the final years to suddenly being completely alone. And now he's on a budget for the first time in almost 90 years old in a long time. He's there's just silence, there aren't people coming around. So it was really important to us to like get here and be with the family. And inside of that is a lot of energy and a lot of heaviness. And I noticed that my body takes this on. My wife does this too, but here today we're talking about ourselves. So, if whether you're in a relationship or not, your body is the one that keeps the score. There's actually a great book called The Body Keeps Score. And anyway, I was able to get in the ocean and move these things through and just continued. I keep jumping to water or jumping into yoga. I'll stretch all night long. And the things I'm continuing to realize, and why I want to talk about this today, is because our body really does keep score, and we can release and manifest anything through connecting to our body. And so I just like to share literally what I'm going through physically to see how, let you all know that this stuff, I still work with. And yeah, so it's interesting in the past and future, right? Seeing what we can let go of and what we can create. Oh, John, what's going on with your body today?
Man, um, I've got a little sciatic. I got in a car accident a few years ago, and recently it's been a little inflamed. So yeah, I've been getting little tingles in the back. Um, but interesting, you were talking about getting into the ocean. I was in Mexico 2 weeks ago, and the days that I went into the ocean and just swam and got smashed by the waves and just sat in the sand and hung out in the water, my body it felt like the best it had felt. It felt the healthiest I'd felt, and just felt really vibrant and healthy. Um, I've never been really an ocean person. Like I, I don't really like salt water. I used to not like salt water. Maybe it's because in Houston we have Galveston, which is our beach, and it's a little bit of brown water. It's not. I know that our bodies is mostly water, like 70 to 80% water, and I know that we have to get near the water to get replenished from the outside of our environment. But I also feel like the quality of water that we put in or around our body is equally important. So it's one thing to say our bodies are water, let's connect to the water, and we swim in a pool of chlorine for like 3 hours and you get all pruny and wrinkly, versus just jumping into a beautiful river, lake, or the ocean with really clean water.
Or the
So
rain.
rain, wow, rain is amazing.
It's been raining almost every day. We've been here. There's this joke, like every time we come to Los Angeles and San Diego, it's like, where's the sunshine? And people are like, oh, it's May gray. You're like, okay, where's sunshine? Oh, it's June gloom right now. Where's sunshine?
Wow.
Oh, it's winter. Oh, it'll come at 12. But it actually, I mean, it does. It burns off and then it comes in the middle of the day and then it goes away. But it's been raining a lot. And so you can either get down about it or you can get the fuck outside and get in the rain and dance, or just let it hit you. That's what I love. I like to go surfing in the rain, swimming in the rain. And it's funny, if you think about it, people get really weird about going to the ocean when it's raining, like getting in the pool when it's raining. And you're like, well, you're already wet. John, I love that you shared, getting in a bunch of chlorine may be terrible. My doctor, post the surgery, actually highly recommended that I don't get in a pool because of all the chemicals in them. And that even in parts of the ocean and parts of the world, even close to San Diego on a rainy day, they get spill off from the Tijuana River. So the water is not as healing as it used to be. So there are those things to take in, but it's available to you wherever you are. I love that you're like, well, I grew up in Texas and wherever. I mean, you actually grew up near water in Texas. That's rare for probably 80% of Texans. Right? There's only some of you down there by the water. And yet you're dealing with heat right now, and the whole world is dealing with more heat and less water than ever. But also it's going up into the clouds and then it's dumping more. So we're having way more flooding and all of that. So the earth is manifesting these things too right now.
She's crying. Well. Sweating and crying, as Mother Earth is doing.
So John, and also, I was asking about like, what was your resistance to salt water?
I feel like in the past, being exposed to just certain types of salt water, which is like the Gulf of Mexico, which is brownish water, you would leave really sticky, and it was just kind of funky. It just smelled really like dead fish out there. So I always gravitated towards fresh water, waterfalls, lakes, little rivers. But I've found a new love for the ocean. So.
Nice. And it sounds like you've experienced something new in the ocean. Like the ocean wasn't necessarily pleasant for you in the past.
Correct.
Um, and I can understand that. It was really scary to me most of my life. It still is. Every time I go surfing, I'm like, whoa. But it's part of facing those fears and also knowing your boundaries, like knowing your safety as well.
I think as a child, parents should never let their kids watch Jaws
Yeah,
or
probably not.
or movies about sharks, because I was deathly afraid of the ocean, watching these shark movies.
Hmm.
And so I think being in murky waters is another thing where it's like you you're faced with the unseen, or this uncertainty, this dark,
Mm.
cloudy brown water. So having clear water is just refreshing, and it's very visually clear. And that's kind of what our mind really wants, is less cloudiness and just more
Mm.
clarity. So I
Mm.
think being in alignment with, we're eating clean, we're breathing really well with our breath work. So then with our water, what kind of water are we taking in, and what kind of water are we swimming in? So it's a big practice to really just be aware of the options and the quality that we surround ourselves with.
Absolutely, absolutely. And taking care of the water, right? And if, go where it's warm, like follow your heart. If something feels good, like not being in the ocean, it's important to trust your body there too. And it gives us messages. Like my body often tells me that I may not be safe in the ocean. And the fact is that's true. The ocean is big, and on a really big day, I actually chose not to surf last week for the first time in a long time, because just because the report said it might get bigger, even though it wasn't, it's me practicing, like knowing my boundaries of how big Mother Nature is, and respecting her, right? But you can work with her, and when we are working with the environment and when we're in alignment with our body and with nature, really, I've found it's been my experience that anything is possible.
Mm.
And often, unfortunately, as a planet, we have not been aligned with nature for a long time. We were in really up until all the indigenous tribes, and then colonialization happened, modernization, industrialization, and now we're here. And the planet is literally going to continue to heat up, destroy, flood, itself for the next 30 years. If we start now, we can start to do repairs that'll happen in 30 years. So that's how much movement we're moving the planet towards. So we actually have, I believe, a responsibility to connect to nature more.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead, John.
No, I just want to share that through COVID, I feel like myself, as well as my circle of friends, community, have really tapped into nature. And with COVID allowing us to work from home, or a lot of us to work from home, not having to go to an office, gives us the opportunity to just say, where can I go and spend a little more time in nature the next few hours, and then take a call. Um, so I lived in the city pretty much all my life,
Mm.
and I've been craving to go into nature more. And I think COVID has allowed me to really just reevaluate, like, how much time am I sitting here on this desk? And maybe this is why my sciatic nerve is flaring up, is because I have been sitting a little more than usual. Um, I used to go work at different yoga studios and teach, several classes a week, and now I'm more at home.
Mm.
So being sedentary,
Oh man, that's a
yeah,
huge one.
sitting.
I have a
So
client that I train twice a week for almost three times a week for the last 6 months. It's a personal trainer, and actually it's been a year, but for the first 6 months she made zero progress physically from the outside. She was definitely getting stronger on the inside, right? But the reason was I got down to it finally. She was like, I'm eating better. I don't understand, why is this weight not going away? She sits like 16 hours a day. So that exercise, even though it may be an hour, it's not sufficient to make up for an entire day, right? We're built to move, and our bodies do keep score. And I actually, John, you just reminded me that the reason my back is going through this release because I've been driving for the first time a lot more. And even though I'm mindful, I have the steering wheel placed so I can relax, I'm always thinking like shoulders, like shoulder blades together, shoulders down, like Tadasana, thinking the yoga thing, like even sitting up on the sits bones, I've got back support, you know, like I really set myself up for self-care and driving, especially because I work with a lot of older people who I see not do that. We wonder why our bodies have these issues. There's so many things throughout our day, little things we put in. It's like repetitive stress injuries, and sciatica definitely flares from sitting a lot, for sure. And I want to honor, we've had some great interaction here, and I just want to talk a little bit about some of you who've been joining in the conversation. Fast Forward SG said, peace, rest, and good vibes our way. So just want to say thank you. Peace and rest are very important. Getting enough rest. One of the best things I learned about surfing, like my whole upper body is actually swollen today. And it's just a reminder of like the importance of rest. Like if you go to the gym, bodybuilders will often work one muscle group to complete exhaustion and then rest it for the next 6 days. So they go to the gym 7 days a week, maybe, or 6 days, but often they're actually resting one of those muscle groups for 6 days, exhausting resting, right? And then on top of that, maybe adding something. So rest becomes one of the most important things. And if we're not resting, then that's another thing that we got to deal with on a soul and energetic level too.
There's on the topic of masculinity and rest, there was a saying that back in the day when my bar friends would say, I think sleep is for, I've heard it's like sleep is for the dead, or sleep is something.
Sleep when you're dead.
Yes, it's like, it was just so frowned upon to be like a man and like, I need sleep, or
I thought you were going to say sleep is for pussies, which is what I would have heard growing up in the South.
Yeah, so it was always frowned upon, or just like made fun of, to like, you don't need, we don't need sleep. It's just play hard, work hard, all these silly things. And sleep is so crucial. Without sleep, you can really go insane. Without that rest, your body doesn't repair. And so I love the topic about getting that peace and rest.
And Jeffrey's been sent me some beautiful messages this morning. I just want to thank you, Jeffrey, for reaching out and actually saying the things that you wanted to hear us talk about. We would love to hear from more of you about what actually matters to you, and we'd be happy to talk about that and even find guests who are specialists in that area, which we had a couple lined up for today, and it didn't happen. So I'm just grateful to be with you, John. Jeffrey MCP said, this was going back to our earlier conversation about my body, but what I was dealing with, but he said like parasympathetic issues. I think Jeffrey was here last week in our conversation, and we were talking about sympathetic and parasympathetic aspects of the nervous system. So these issues that I'm talking about specifically inside of body pain are not related to that specifically. However, energetic responses too, can cause those things. For instance, if you're driving and someone cuts you off real quick and you jerk, you can actually cause a flare. There's an energetic exchange, and your body can sometimes actually take on that energy. So learning how to release it can be really important. Rest is a great way to do that, but often we carry these things and we can charge them throughout the day, and then we still are carrying them with us at night and sometimes not able to sleep for that reason. So it's really important to take the time to be with your body and to be with what's going on so that you can release it, and from there heal and rest.
So Ben, can you tell us some of the ways that you release these?
Well, I mentioned water and running sometimes is a great release, but also, I mean, that can build energy and tension. So for me, a lot of it's just stretching and laying on the floor, getting grounded in any way. If you need to release energy, hugging a tree, sitting at a tree, sitting in grass, putting your, like taking your shoes off, going for a barefoot walk just around the outside of the house. Or maybe if you live in New York City, you might not want to be barefoot, but you could still go get barefoot in the grass somewhere. Or just sitting on the floor, right? Laying on the floor, child's pose. A lot of those restorative poses in yoga are really great. And I think I find sitting in some kind of meditation at some point in the day, several times a day, to check in with my body. I stretch, if you know me or around me, I stretch kind of all day long. But it's also important to just be still sometimes and notice what's going on. So all of those things are important for me. What about you, John?
So this weekend, I did a lot of movement and moving of energies. So there's a teacher that teaches a belly dancing class. It's co-ed. So we did a belly dancing class, but right before the belly dancing class, she brought a drummer and he taught us how to play a few like ancient, not ancient, but like, I guess, really old Arabic and Egyptian drum beats. So I think for me, drumming is a really good release of energy.
There's an awesome video of Yoda, your dog, drumming on your Instagram. You guys want to see?
If you want to see a dog playing the drums, check out my Instagram.
He's a badass.
He is. But playing drums, and then I did some. So the drums, my whole body just felt electric, but just fingertips fully, like my chi was like on fire. Then going into belly dance, we did this like a lot of hip movement, and our hips, that's where the sacral chakra is, and it stores so much emotion. So I was able to just release trapped emotions. So the movement of the hips, and then there's this thing that we did at the end of the class where we just kind of like, it's called the czar, and you spin your head in the C shape, like a C shape, and you just keep, so it's like a C this way, a C this way, and you just do this for literally like 5 minutes, and all the blood rushes to your head, and it's like your crown chakras is blasted open. So
wow.
So yoga, drumming, dance, movement.
Dance, yes.
And just shaking things off your body, just shaking out the chi.
Let's all do that right now.
Let's do it.
Encourage if you're watching, guys. See, there's 4 people here. Let's do it.
All right.
Jump up and down and shake for a minute.
All right. Do this shaky stuff here.
And I like to take it to the next level. If you've ever worked with me as a client or been in a space and add the voice to it. Woo!
Oh, mantras are a good way to move that energy. Mantras and affirmations.
You add your voice and you yell, and it's extra awesome, but I don't want to scare Grandpa too much right
now. And I just want to mention that last night was a full moon. It was actually the blue moon in August. It's a sturgeon moon. So I want to just ask anyone out there that's watching this, if you want to type in one thing that you are releasing, letting go of, cutting the cord from, releasing attachment to whoever it is, type it in, and then type in I am manifesting, and then type in whatever you want. And this is just a good practice that I like to do, and it's just speaking our let goes, and speaking our manifestations out into the universe, whether it's typing it on social or saying out loud or whispering it to yourself, or even a sticky note. So I'm going to start.
So while John's doing this, I'm releasing any fear, stress, or worry that I have about today or what I need to accomplish today. or anything in the way of being anywhere other than right here. So I am manifesting being present, connected, joy, ease, and productivity.
Beautiful. I'm releasing fear and I'm manifesting alignment and abundance. Abundance of everything.
Yes. And another way I want to talk about how to embody in here, right? And you guys, please type this in if you're here with us right now. Welcome, Baba. Is if and when you meditate, or if and when you sit with your body and you notice what's going on, what we don't often do is imagine what it would feel like if we had those things that we want to manifest in our body right now. So if you had, for example, John, manifestation and alignment and abundance right now, what would that feel like in your body now?
Ease, joy, full, loving.
Beautiful. And for you at home, wherever you are, you can stay in that inquiry. You don't have to have an answer, but imagine what it might feel like if you had that restoration in your marriage now. If you had that $20,000, that $100,000 right now. If you had that $1 million right now. And if you're able to start to create or even imagine what that might feel like in your body, you're actually starting to embody it. You're actually starting to call that energy in, rather than all the energy around it of what you're fearing, of what you can't control, right? So thank you, Fast Forward SG, for sharing that with us. And this is an opportunity to see, okay, if you want to manifest restoration in your marriage, what would restoration in your marriage look like? And then what would that feel like?
Oh, I love that you say embody, and you said it so many times, but I don't know if exactly the MEM, what that pronoun or what it stands for, but to me it's MEM is like putting the emotion into the body. And if you want to embody joy, like how do you get that feeling in your body? Embodying it, like living it. So I love it. That's the key to any recipe. It's that sprinkle of that feeling into your manifestation. That's the seed that will help root down and grow whatever you're manifesting is these emotions.
Yeah, and we can get really stuck on this outside work and what it looks like. There's some things that are out of control. CD is saying here that he really spends most of his day meditating, and all day and night, for how things can be better for him and his family and the kids, inside of a lot of disarray, inside of a lot of really unfortunate, difficult circumstances in that part of the world. And we're sending you so much love, brother. We just want to let you know we're with you. And we don't know what it's like to be there, right? But we can imagine sending love and being there with you and surrounding you with love, and that you are taken care of in love, right? And that even if you don't have the nourishment or resources available to you right now, that know that you and your family have love, and that can keep you strong and connected through these difficult times. Jeffrey also mentioned marriage restoration here, new boundaries and communication. So if you had new boundaries, or if you had boundaries, if you had communication, what would that look and sound like? And then what would that feel like in your body? John, I love that you said embody, like emotionally body something. There's emulate, right? So there's, which also is talking about like taking on and doing as you see.
Empathy.
Empathy, right? So pathizing with someone else, like under getting aligned with their pathology. So empathizing. I don't know the Latin root for it.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're
If
on to
anyone
something
does,
here.
share it here.
Yeah, you guys at home, you can Google it for us and then chime in.
And if you're listening and watching, we'd love to know what's the number one challenge for you? Where are you stopped in your life? Where does it feel like this won't work, or it's not enough, or you're not enough? As I was saying, we can be programmed to do more, to try to fix and create and do all this stuff on the outside. Like if we handle all these tasks, then everything will just, go away. But sometimes it's the opposite. It's inside out work. Sometimes it is helpful just to check one thing off your box, put one thing in motion, but you don't have to complete all of these things, because either way, whether you complete them or not, you only live once. Most of the stuff we're doing and the money we make and the living we work for, it's all made up. We've just agreed that this is what we have to do in our capitalist society. So you can actually create anything you want for yourself. It's your life. And if there's any part of you that's challenged by what you're up against, you actually can create something newly now. So I'd love to hear, a few people have shared, are there any other challenges that you're up against in your life? We've seen marriage, the disturbance in homes, things about just not what you can't control. Jeffrey said, I'm manifesting defeat. So I wonder, Jeffrey, if you mean you're releasing defeat, or what manifesting defeat might look like for you. Like, are you manifesting that you can defeat something?
It's a good question.
Jeffrey said, I use my emoji day on my calendar to describe my mood of the day. So Jeffrey, you're resigned that you're defeated. So if you, is that something you'd like to release? Being defeated? And if so, then what would you like to manifest?
Yeah, what are you calling in, Jeffrey? And what's the feeling that you are creating?
What would you like to create? Yeah, what would you like to call in? Art of Humility joined. Welcome, brother. Baba says he's facing a lot of challenges, but taking them as life lessons. And those are great. So yeah, Jeffrey, if you're welcome to type an answer. If you don't have one, you can be in the inquiry with us.
And Baba, I love that you said that about the challenges and making them lessons. That's, to me, the biggest lesson is to make all these challenges and like heartbreaks and just different things that go on in life as lessons. We either win. There's a saying that I don't lose, I either win or I learn. And whenever we feel defeated, so Jeffrey, if you're feeling defeated, that could be seen as a loss. Where can you find a lesson in this feeling of defeat? Life can be challenging. And if we look at it as a game that we're winning or losing all the time, then it only gets more challenging. But if we can see it as a lesson each time, then we're actually evolving and we're getting better in the process. And the truth is, it'll be harder for whatever it is to defeat us again. If we've been defeated before, and we learn from that lesson, then whatever that challenge is only stands a little chance now with trying to defeat us. So keep that in mind.
It's so beautiful, John. And good morning, Alessandra, as well. Jeffrey said it's kind of like I do want to be right, or I do want to be happy. Or do I want to be happy, right? Oh, yeah. It's like, do I want to be right, or do I want to be happy? Yeah.
The ego loves to be right. So if you identify with your ego, for sure, try to be right. Just go for it. And if you are connected to your soul, and the soul lives in this 5-dimensional world, it's kind of this, it's not contained, it's just this floating infinite thing, and the soul gravitates towards happiness and joy. So take a few moments out of your day just to connect with your soul. Connect to the non-physical things. Just drop in, listen to no sound, and just easiest way for me is just breathing intentionally, because air is one of those invisible things that without it we'll die. It's like one of the only things that's like without it we would die. That and water. So take a few moments to get some quality oxygen into your bloodstream, and that'll lighten up your soul. That's the soul's fuel is our breath. So. Hey, Alessandra, welcome to the show.
That's so beautiful. And there's one other thing I want to say about loss that we mentioned earlier, and I was thinking about losing, and that quote you said, I never lose, I either win or I learn. Think about loss, and loss can be real for us if we say like we've lost someone physically in our life, but there's still a lesson to be learned from loss. There's still knowledge and wisdom to be gained. And I've heard that there is a science behind losing weight, that the weight loss industry actually calls it weight loss, because if it's lost, then you actually have to go back and find it. And it tells the brain subconsciously that something is lost. And somehow it sort of keeps you coming back for more. So energetically, what if you just released it or shed it? And what are you holding on to still? Maybe there's a part of you that's trying to be right in your life, or that's still beating yourself up, or holding on to something that doesn't serve you, that if you were to release would allow you to lose that weight. I had a teacher that was overweight for like the first 30 years of his life, because he had a father that always told him how overweight he was, and really verbally abused him for it. And as soon as his father died, he dropped all the weight. And he went from being 300 pounds to now he's like super thin. He's a yoga teacher, and this teacher and an English teacher still. But he actually did the energetic work, and that's what I'm pointing to. Like, you don't have to be thin, right? We're not talking about that. There's all kinds of beautiful body types, and your size is beautiful. But if you're trying to release or shed something that's not serving you, that's what we're talking about. That's the energy we're talking about.
So what are you releasing? Everyone at home, if you haven't typed in yet, I see there are a few watchers here. Just type in one thing that you are releasing today. Any energy, any cord, any attachment that you're releasing today. Yeah.
Type it in. What are you releasing today? John?
Oh, I already shared. But
I know. Just creating a new opportunity.
I'm releasing fear. And actually, I don't know if I even want to release fear, because I feel like fear, I'm changing my perception around fear to where fear really isn't this scary thing. Fear is just a friend that I don't know yet, and I'm gonna, whatever I'm fearful around, I'm gonna approach this friend, this mysterious friend, and I'm gonna learn about it, and I'm gonna dance with this mysterious thing, until I realized that it doesn't scare me anymore.
Mm.
And we talked about me going into the ocean earlier. And I used to have a big fear, like up till last month. I was really afraid of the ocean because I've only been around really dark, murky oceans. And um, playing in the ocean where I could see my toes, uh, I I created a new relationship with the ocean,
Mm.
and that fear was released. It was fictional, and it went away. And my relationship with the ocean now is I love the ocean.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we can release things, or we can just have a good relationship with it. Maybe
Mm.
we can release anger, or we can look at anger and say, well, why am I angry? Let's dance with anger for a little bit and see, why do these things trigger me? Why do I get all red in the face when someone says something about me? Is this something that is unhealed within that I can really look into, dance with, write about, journal, speak to a friend or coach about, and just allow that knot to untie and be released on its
Mm.
own organically.
Mm.
So whether we release it or we dance with it, that dancing with it, that playing with the fear, playing in the dark. I think all of us, when we grew up, we used to be afraid of the dark. And until you are able to go play with some friends in the dark, like sleepover with a bunch of friends, and you're running around the streets in the dark with your bike, and your parents think you're at home, and you actually have fun in the dark, it then becomes not scary.
Mm.
So would love to just share that yeah, there doesn't have to be some dramatic release. It can really just be playing with something fearful or triggering or angry until we become less affected by it, until we become immune to these things.
That's really beautiful, John. Oh. Um,
Yeah, releasing fake evidence appearing real. I love that. That's what fear is. It's just false evidence appearing real.
mm.
Um, feel everything and release is my
Mm.
new acronym for fear.
Mm. I love that.
Feel everything, whether it's like, holy shit, I've got goosebumps, my knees are shaking. Feel everything, and then just breathe and let it go and say, man, whatever that thing that made me scared, it didn't kill me. I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to learn what it is.
Yeah.
Figure out why it scares me so much.
Jeffrey actually sent me a message this morning on that very thing. Like, how do we deal with emotions that seem to control you? How do you navigate those? So you just, well, first of all, you've got to sit and feel them,
Mm-hmm.
listen to them, and
Breathe through them. You can
breathe
breathe
through them.
through it. It's so big. Like, holy shit, it scared me. I'm going to breathe through it. I'm going to.
Yeah. I said, can you name them actually? And if you can name your emotions,
identify, right?
you actually have to breathe.
Breathe.
Because you have to think to name it, which also gives you a pause.
See it, breathe it, maybe even feel it. Definitely feel it.
Fast Forward SG said, fast forwards G, maybe that's what it is. The thought that I'm not worthy of love, releasing that. And I think that's beautiful. So if you're not worthy of love, that false evidence appearing real, what are you worthy of? And if you're worthy of love, how would that feel? What would that feel like? And that would be my practice, my challenge to you this week, to go be in that inquiry. Renegade Cat said, I'm releasing my fear of being uncomfortable so that I can be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's kind of what you're pointing to, John. Yeah, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. It never gets comfortable. I don't know. I feel like it always stays uncomfortable, but it can get more familiar. And that's sort of what surfing is for me, John. I watched, like you said earlier, like, I have an active imagination, like most of us, like all those shark movies, all that stuff we learn about sharks, it isn't real. Sharks do not like humans. They're not looking for us. Surfers might look like seals once in a while. So I'm very aware of that. That's why I don't ever surf alone. But at the same time, I face a false evidence appearing real every day. I have that fear every time I go in. And I'm reminded once I'm out there how amazing it is. So I always go with a friend because that's an accountability buddy. It's like a coach or someone in my corner that's going to show up and is counting on me to show up, to be my word, whether my feelings are dictating something else. Like if I wake up feeling a certain way, my friend's like, hell no, dude, you're coming, I'm not putting up with that shit. No excuses, right? And that actually, and vice versa. I've been able to be that. And that's what I love about coaching, is being able to be that person in your corner to say, hey, no, you said you do this, and I'm going to stand for you. We actually allow, one thing I'm giving up is doing it alone. Something I'm really taking on. We've just put a lease on a house for the first time in Rhinebeck, New York, Hudson Valley, where we've been for a few weeks. And the next day we came to Los Angeles. It's really confusing because I'm like, I love the West Coast. Why are we moving there? But we're moving there because we said we'd move there. We're making a choice to move there, and we have the opportunity to always come back to the coast. But the thing is that before I left, I was in tears because one of my friends, and he may actually be on the show next week, Matt Johnston, who's an awesome coach and innovator, said, I got you, man. Like, if you need help while you're gone, ask for it. I would love to help you. And I almost started crying because I couldn't wrap my head around how someone would want to help move, especially if I'm not there. Moving can be really heavy anyway. But consider, like, your yuck is someone else's yum. Like, you asking for help actually gives someone else the opportunity to help you. And that could be the greatest gift, to be of service to you.
To be of service, exactly. And it feeds people's souls to actually be of service and to help. Yeah.
Having Yoda there in your life, the beautiful dog behind you, gives you someone to be of service to. I'm sure he's of service to you too. Right, Yoda?
Yeah, he helps me wake up in the morning and actually helps me get out into nature a little bit more. Yeah, these little walks and little sunlight trips out to the park.
He seems like he's probably helping, also good with naps.
Yeah, he helps me slow down whenever I need to take a nap. Yeah, he's a good balancer of energy for sure for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So blessings to you all. Jeffrey said radical experience. Thank you so much. If this resonated, please let us know, let a friend know. Send us a direct message. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about, and someone who you could tag a friend today and say, I thought you could use something like this. That can be a great gift. Again, if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe and share this message on Facebook as well. And Jeff said he just helped move his high school buddy. And I think that's beautiful.
That's a tough one. But very, very honorable.
Helping move. Yeah.
Helping people move. That's a big one.
I've done it a few times, and actually helped a buddy move to Minnesota. And it was like, helped him drive from New York all the way out there all night. And then help him move into a house. But ended up being so fun and exciting, and we got to connect so much. And like I realized I like manual labor. I like using my body and lifting things and feeling like this human strength and what you can, like, sometimes when you're moving, your body can, like, it's incredible what you have to go, because if you move in one day, you get all that stuff in your truck and all that stuff out and there's a lot of energy. And somehow we're able to do it, so our brains have a lot of false evidence that appears real, and your body really is a great opportunity to get out of your head and into action, right? And then what matters, despite what your brain tells you.
Larry just gave us a bunch of thumbs up, and one day, Larry, you're coming on this show, you're jumping on to talk. Larry's one of my teachers, and I really respect Larry so much. just taught me a lot,
Mm.
you know.
Thank you, Larry. We'd be
Yeah,
honored
so
to have you.
be
Please send us a
honored to have
direct
you.
message. We'll set that up.
Yeah.
If you're still with us, we'd love to know one thing that, oh yeah, Larry says, oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Larry leads a men's circle that I'm in, and he always teaches me a lot of yogic wisdom
Mm.
and divine masculinity. He leads by example. So
Mm.
soon, Larry,
That's
hit me up
beautiful.
on the private message. We'll set a date, and we'd love to have you on the show, Larry.
Mm.
Um,
And if you're still with us, I'd love to know one thing that you're taking away from this conversation today. Whether you're live or you watch this later, just type in the comments one thing that you're taking away from today that you'll carry with you through this conversation.
yes.
John, what's one thing you're taking away from it today?
Mm. Mm. Embodying.
Mm.
And I know in the work we often will sit in a circle and manifest and talk about things, but really embodying what we are manifesting is huge. And that's my biggest takeaway is a lot of what you talked about is embodying those feelings, bringing that emotion in as we manifest is so huge. Because that's like the Kickstarter of making things happen, is to really imagine it and feel it,
Mm.
and to live the to be true to your word, be impeccable with your word.
Mm.
That's one of the four agreements: be impeccable with your word. But if we say, oh, I'm all peace and joy, and then we're not being peace or joy, then we're just speaking words. So really embodying that,
Mm.
taking time to have peace and taking time to show love,
Mm.
is really living it and giving it.
Mm. Jeffrey, you typed in community. John really got the embodiment, the EM of the emotional body. That's something that I can really relate to as well. Superman Lang. So just logged on, but one thing I caught was movement. Times of stress, anxiety, or when I need clarity, getting a good workout in or movement helps. Action actually cures fears for sure. So yeah, it can be one little action and can change the world. And it doesn't have to go be like getting in a good workout. It could just be going to just get your ass outside for starters.
And if you are anywhere and you can Google outdoor yoga, go for it. Move your body and be in nature. You'll be fully open and you can receive the earth, and then you can actually activate. To me, I love embodiment practices like shaking or just beating on your chest or whatever.
Mm.
And that's like a good 5-minute thing. But if you can truly devote an hour to your whole day and give yourself maybe 1 hour of movement outside where you get to work all the different parts of your body, every chakra is opening. That's the key.
Mm.
And yeah, the more you can show yourself that love, it's just the more your body's going to love you back.
Mm. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go for, I think, a mini jog today. I haven't been able to run in weeks. I've actually been letting my body heal, letting my foot heal, and then jump in some water after, maybe even a cold shower to follow it up with, and
Nice.
then get back to work. What about you, John? What are you doing today? Or what have you done
Probably,
today?
I was outside earlier with Yoda. We did the
Mm.
little yard stuff. I think we're going to go for a walk, and actually, I'm just going to go shirtless walk so I can get a little bit of solar power action on my
Nice.
cells and awaken that
Yeah,
way.
sounds great.
Get this little chubby dude on the grass a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I
then
walked barefoot across a parking lot this morning, and actually that a clean one, like no glass, but that actually felt great.
good. Yeah. All earth, right?
Yeah, I mean there's some tar in there, but hell yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, I love this. Thank you all for being part of this conversation. Jess, I see you just hopped on. Thank you for joining us. Please, again, let us know what resonated. And if you have a topic you'd love for us to talk about, send us a DM and let us know, and share, tag with a friend. And I'm sending you guys a lot of love wherever you are today. Just want to say, I love you. John, I love you.
I love you, brother.
And
Everyone at home, we love you. And yeah, whatever challenges you're facing, know that you'll be so much fuller and more just stronger on the other side of whatever that challenge or that fear is. And the universe has your back.
Mm, mm.
You will rise.
Yes. Yes. Well, beautiful day, brothers and sisters. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. Take
Peace.
care. Peace
And love.
and love.